Hello YouTube, Jedamon 2005 here with a little bit different of a video, right? Normally I'm not on this side of the camera, usually I'm on the other side. But I'm doing this today, because today, even though it's not still today when you're seeing this, because time and lazy, is Power Ranger Day, right? 25th anniversary of the show and the airing of the first episode and whatnot, and that's a pretty big thing. That's a pretty cool thing, and you're probably wondering, why are you doing a video like this when you have 3 months of stuff sitting like right here that you should be reviewing? And well, because this is just something that's near and dear to my heart, and you're absolutely right, I should be reviewing that, but I'm not at the moment. Several things happened since the last time I did one of toy review. Real quick, got sick a couple of times, went to Disney World. Started out by like, I'm gonna take a week off from recording, and then now here we are 3 months later, and or more. I think it's more. It's now more than that, and still it's just sitting here. But I promise that's all coming. And you might also be a little bit confused because I don't talk too much about Power Rangers around here. I have a few videos, but compared to everything else, there's not a lot. But it is something that's very special to me. And to put it in a little bit of a perspective, the show's 25. I'm 31. I've pretty much grown up with the show, right? You know, the show, when it first came on, it was, you know, I was 6. It was 7 months after my sister was born. And my big thing at the time was Ninja Turtles, and it still is. And you can tell Ninja Turtles is my thing because I named my sister after one. That's a true story. She tells anyone who'll listen. But I remember, and I was big into it, kind of toys and big turtles and vehicles and everything. And I remember my dad coming home from work one day, and what he was a salesman that sold. He was like the middleman kind of guy for like food, like dog food or soup or whatever. And the people who, you know, like Pedigree or Campbell's, they hire these guys, and they come and they go to the different grocery stores, and they say, hey, we got a new product coming out. Let me sell you some. We could put it on the shelf, and I'll make a spot for you. And that's what he did. So he, talking to whoever at work, comes home and says, they got this new thing all the kids are into, and it's called Power Rangers, and they got dinosaurs and robots, and there's a lot of fighting. And 6-year-old me was like, dinosaurs and fighting? I'm gonna try to keep my head here so the light back there doesn't blind everyone. No promises. May want to watch this with sunglasses. But and then he mentioned there's a lot of toys for it. And of course, little me was like, yay, toys. And my parents were like, no, you are not getting into that. You were into too many things. You have Turtles toys and Hot Wheels and Batman toys, and you are not getting into anything else. I'm like, okay, sad face. And then I watched it anyway, because that's what I do. And remember my dad brought home the Day of the Dumpster, the VHS tape, because anyone who's under like 15, a VHS tape that we had before DVDs. It's like a rectangle, you stick it into a thing called a VCR, and you play it, and you have to rewind it to start it over. You don't just hit like stop and press play again. And that was stupid. And I watched it a lot, and I remember watching Green with Evil Part 1, where at the very beginning, Jason and Tommy have that they're in that martial arts tournament. It ends in a draw, because let's face it, whatever they might be like to each other or other people off camera, they both have a lot of martial arts ability. There's no arguing that. And I loved watching that. You know, them going back and forth, and they came to a draw. And I'm like, I want to do that. And so I did. A few months later, because I watched that show, I started taking Taekwondo. And, this show's made me who I am. I saw Billy. Billy was the little nerdy kid with the glasses. And he was just starting to learn. So he was this white belt and got picked on. And I don't know if you can tell, nerdy guy, glasses, right? Got picked on a lot. I'm like, I can relate to this guy. Right? Jason's that cool guy that you want to be. And Billy's the guy you kind of actually are. And Zach's the guy you want to be too, because he can talk to the ladies and he's got rhythm and dance moves. But you dance like a weirdo white guy who can't just do anything. And then you had the girls who were like, you want to talk to them, but you're like, I'm the awkward white guy. I can't talk to you about anything. So, and then Tommy came along and stole the show. And it was just so great. And of course, you love dinosaurs. What kid doesn't love dinosaurs? And it became my everything. And then as my sister got a little bit older, it became, she wanted to be like her brother. We were very close, and it was something we bonded over. And, she got into it, and we could watch it together and do the toys together, even though would frequently use my Tiger Zord to scare the living crap out of her, to get her away from me sometimes. And because anyone with a little sister knows they can be annoying. But there's nothing like it. In those early days, it got imitated so many times, even by Saban, VR Troopers and Max Rider and Beetleborgs, and then they made Mystic Knights, which is awesome. Someone needs to get that on DVD, please. And by other people, there's very few things that can say they were imitated that much because it worked so well. But they didn't all have that same success. Like it was just, there's never been anything like it. It was like, it really was lightning in a bottle, and that lightning bolt was for the logo was just a ridiculously accurate choice. And I remember things like going to Toys R Us when that was still a thing, and having just the bikes and the morphers and the Megazords, and bringing home the Power Blaster and the morpher set and getting the coins. And even as a 6-year-old, recognizing they made this toy upside down, and just all the fun and the hell of putting stickers on Megazords, but you got them, and it was so much fun. You could combine them and take them apart. And I got older, and then I watched the show some more, and I kept taking karate. It was my inspiration to keep going. Even when I took my black belt test a lot of years later, it was brutal. It was a very brutal test, and I'm like, I just want to be like Tommy. I just want to be able to kick someone's ass like Tommy. I gotta do this. I gotta push on. Like they wouldn't give up. I can't give up. And I made it through, and got it, and then got my 2nd degree and 3rd degree, and it's like, even now, even when I watch the show now and I see what some of these guys do, I'm like, I still want to do that. I want to be able to fight like these guys, and to be able to do some of these moves. Or just watching JDF now, it's like, okay, I just feel terrible, because you can still do the things you did 25 years ago. Like, that's just impressive. I'm sorry, I don't care what you say about the guy, that's impressive. And it, for that kid who was picked on, it gave me something, and something to look forward to, something to come home and you watch that every day. And because it was on Monday through Friday, and then it was, it made everything better. And then as you got older, right, Zeo comes along, Turbo, Space, and now I'm starting to get a little older, and now it's like, oh, you watch Power Rangers still? That's a kid's show. I'm like, well, I thought we were kids, like we're 9, like I don't understand what the problem, it didn't say like, 5-year-olds only on this program. And it got tiring after a while. And I remember watching Lost Galaxy to the end, vaguely, and Lightspeed started, and I just checked out, and I'm like, nope, not doing this. This is, I don't know what's happening. You picked a bunch of adults. The premise was teenagers with attitude. I'm out. Like, enough of this. Plus I'm tired of getting picked on like ridiculous amounts for this. You know, as I got older, also I started getting less and less of the toys. My parents are looking at me like, you still want to buy these toys? You're like 11. Which I'm pretty sure was only because they didn't want to spend the money on it, because we didn't have that kind of money. And space, we only had limited space in our house, and, you know, Megazords can get kind of big. Pyramidas had to sit under my bed because it was huge. Even then, I had to fold the little tip of the pyramid over so it would fit under there. I mean, it's giant. So they were like, we really don't feel like spending money on this stuff. Can you maybe not do that anymore? And played a little bargaining. And so I got the Astro Megazord and the Astro Morpher. It's like, well, what about this? Just the one thing. And then the one thing comes, one more thing. Like Uncle from Jackie Chan, one more thing. And then I just got out of it completely. Didn't buy anything. Didn't watch the show for about 3 years. And I remember being at my grandparents' house one morning. I think it was summer vacation or something. I don't know. And me and my sister are sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast, and we're flipping through the channels trying to find something to watch. And Wild Force is on. And I call it like the end of the episode, so there's all the Wild Zords. And I see the Shark Zord, and the gorilla, and the bison, and giraffe, and all these animals that we'd never used before because we were always going tiger and lion and tiger and lion and bear and falcon. But here's like you know, we got the multiple bears or the elephant and the giraffe. I'm like, that's so cool. They're using different animals this time. I love animals. Now they've got a shit ton of them. So then I started watching Wild Force again. And then from there it was Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. And the more I was watching it, the more I got hooked on it. I remember being at a home one morning on a Saturday, because this is before Disney put it on at the ass crack of dawn, because they were just done. It was on a reasonable time. Sitting there, you know, watch it on a Saturday morning, eat breakfast, and my parents were like, we're doing this again? Oh, we're done with that. No, it's good. And it was just kind of like, after a couple of times, I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. And, you know, I mean, they'd sit there and watch it because I put it on and they didn't want to change it. So we watched Tommy be the Black Ranger, and it was like the coolest thing. And, you know, my parents took me to see the movies, and it was kind of a bonding thing. And then, you know, they didn't want to see it, but they took me, and that's always cool. I love that. And, you know, and of course now, like, Lionsgate comes out with their movie, and of course I have kids now, so I get to pass it on. And that's, being 25 years of a franchise, it's something that now allows that to happen, that now I can pass that on to my kids, and now we share that. And, you know, when, you know, everyone, or most people on this channel have seen Kaylee and heard Kaylee, and when she first came around, we first moved into this house here, you know, we had a lot of time together, and that was one of the things that we did, is I introduced her to Megaforce, and she saw Gia and Emma, and she was all about that. And so we've watched, you know, everything since then, every episode together. That's what we do, and that's our time together. And even Natalie, you know, my 3-year-old, she will sometimes watch it with us if she's not being distracted because she's 3. And like, that's our bonding. That's, you know, Kaylee comes and we get the toys together and we'll play with them, and she'll show me how to do it sometimes, so before I get a chance to show her, and that's fun. And she does it with the Kamen Rider and the Sentai stuff too, because we kind of do the whole thing together. And I love it. You know, the movie was coming out, and she got excited, and I was excited, and me and my wife took her and our nephew to go see it. And you know, it was like, it was the coolest thing, because it's for me, it's like being a little kid again, and then I get to experience it with my kids. And those who have kids understand that, and those who don't, I promise you, when you know, should you have kids at some point, you will get that. And it's I don't know, it's just it's a really cool film. We did with a lot of things, you know, that I've introduced her to, because that's what we do. We watch Ninja Turtles and Ben 10 and all that stuff, and I get to pass on the things that I liked with her. And you know, remember as I got back into the franchise, right? Because I have all these Morphers and Megazords, and I'm like, what about toys? I should get toys again. I like that Dino Thunder Morpher. They got dinosaurs again. I should get that. And the Mystic Force comes around, like, they got a phone. I should get that. So I started getting the Morphers again, kind of secretly, because, you know, my parents really want me. They don't like, you know, they kept telling me, don't waste your money on things. You should save money. I don't know what that means. If you've seen my channel, I don't know what saving money is. So I started buying Morphers and went back and bought the other ones I didn't have. And then I started reading the credits for whatever reason, and I noticed, you know, based on Tokusou Sentai Deca Ranger. And I'm like, what is a Deca Ranger? Based on Magi Ranger. What is a Magi Ranger? And I go to the internet, and because now the internet's a thing, and I'm finding the Super Sentai, and then I feel cool, because like, oh, I'm looking at it, and here's this Bokenger. I know what's gonna happen next year on Power Rangers. They're gonna have a silver guy, and he's gonna be all shiny, and they're gonna have all these car vehicles, and it's gonna be cool. Like I'm some kind of hipster or something, I don't know. And then as I started getting more and more into it, that's when I started finding, you know, the forums and the fandom, and like, it's not just me. Like I'm not the only one out there like this that is, you know, an adult and buying these toys and collecting these things and watching these shows still, and watching it with that wonderment of a child going, look how cool that is, they just morphed, Tommy's back, oh my god. And it's which is, that by itself is very relieving for anyone. I'm not alone. I'm not the only person like this. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not weird and crazy and insane. And so I started buying Morphers. I got all these Morphers, and then of course my parents started noticing, and like, are you buying Power Rangers again? Maybe. And at first he just kind of got that eye roll and that shake of the head, and then after a while, like, you know what? Could be worse. We should not doing drugs. It's like, that's right. My sweet plastic crack instead. And that's how we refer to it. And it endures. And there've been ups and downs, but you know, I got to do things like go to Disney World when Disney owned it and take pictures with people in the suits all over Disney Hollywood Studios, which of course was a little awkward because me and my sister were the only adults in line and everyone else was about 6, but we were like, we're doing this. We're gonna get in line and we're taking pictures and it's gonna be great. And people are looking at us, we're like, we don't care. We're with the Power Rangers, we're with those guys. And you know, I'm now like about 10, 11 years into being in this fandom and being online and being on Twitter. And yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I'd been involved a little bit more over the years, but it's allowed me to do things like meet all these people, you know, through going online, finding the Sentai, and then finding the fandom, and finding things like CS Toys. And I find, you know, I've made friends, Shuki and Dawson, and we start our podcast. And we have RRR, and now there's like a whole podcast that is spun off of our podcast, which is just insane. Like, we did a thing, and now someone else wants to do a thing that's like our thing. Like, that blows my mind. Like, 'cause I didn't think we were that good. Most of what I did, that's not even how I am in real life. That's after a while I got to be, this is what people expect me to do. I don't say like your mom that many times in a row. And but and then, you know, being able to do things like Power Morphicon. So now I'm like, this, not only is there a huge fandom out there, I can go to a convention in California, meet these people that I talk to online in person, and then meet the actors, meet the people that I have idolized and that I have, you know, have been like role models to me and inspiration to me in a variety of ways over the years, and meet them and tell them, and of course, usually telling them and meeting them is kind of like because I'm a very nervous person, and then it just gets really awkward. But fortunately enough for me, most of them, I actually think all of them that I've met have been very nice and very gracious and very wonderful. And but it's just, being able to come together and celebrate this one thing, and then I go there and people recognize me and they want to stop and see me, and it's just like, this can't be real. Like, people who I've never met, who are all over this country and from other countries, because I have friends that are British and named Chris, and other friends named Chris now, lots of them for some reason. For some reason on Twitter, everyone's name is Chris now. I don't know. And like, they want to stop and say, thank you for your show, and thank you for the toy reviews, and want to take a picture. And I'm like, just a guy who likes watching people in spandex fight each other. I don't know. But it's really cool, and it all comes back to that one show. If that show had never been, I mean, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have, done this podcast. Probably wouldn't have done martial arts for 20 something years. And that, all of those experiences have shaped who I am. Some of my very best friends have come through this entire experience. And I am so grateful and so thankful that it's here and that it's still going. And I'm, this is long and rambling, but that's okay. It's supposed to. That's why our show was called And Rambles. And 25 years is a long time. It's really hard to believe that I've been here more than 25 years, but hopefully it goes another 25 years, and then it really becomes like Sentai in Japan, where you don't just, it becomes more than multi-generational, right? Now you're talking your kids, and then now your grandkids, or your kids are getting almost old enough to have their own kids, and it's still going. And hopefully that's what I hope for. Now we have, we had comics when I was a kid. They weren't the best, but I remember my grandpa would go to the store every month and bring me back a Power Rangers comic because he knew I liked it. And that Power Rangers has bonded me to my family in a lot of ways. And and now I can get them again in this Boom Studios archive, which is amazing. And thank you, Boom, because it's all the feels from my childhood. But now we have like the ongoing series, and they're so good. And we got Hyperforce, and the show, and we have this Legacy Wars game on the mobile phones, which it's not the best, but they're doing a lot of things with it, and there's so many characters in it. And then they're adding so many more, and they're taking from all aspects of the franchise, which I cannot help but support that kind of enthusiasm. And then, it's great. Like, no one could have imagined 25 years ago when we first started watching this show that it would become this. And that's why I'm hoping to go. I want to go back to Morphicon. I went twice. I want to go back in 2 years. That's my plan, because I want to see my friends again, the ones I've seen before, and I want to see all my new friends, or not new friends, but people I haven't met. I want to see, Chris, a couple of Chris's, because everyone's Chris. I don't know why. And I want to see Brian again, and I want to meet Eric, who I think I might have met and don't remember it, and see Zeron again, and I don't even remember who else. Chenix, if Chenix goes even, and Aerosol, if Aerosol goes. It'd be nice if Aerosol went again. Dawson. I want to see other Kevin, because there's a new Kevin. Show him what it means to be original recipe. And Will, because Will's awesome. And the RR, the Streets guys, they're Tyler and Corey. And who else? Ivan. Jack. Like, I've met so many people, and all brought together from this one show. And this show is, you just see all these different characters, and somehow you can find a way to relate to many, if not all of them, even, you know, if they're not exactly like you. Maybe they are in this one episode. You're like, I know exactly what that means. I was rude to someone, and my Dino Gem wouldn't bond to me either. But no, that's a joke. I don't have a Dino Gem. I wish I did. An Energem or something. I don't know. It's late. I'm tired. But I love this show so much, and that anniversary episode was amazing. Watched it with Kaylee. We both loved it. We were both freaking out. Want to master more for now. Wearing green, right? That was purely unintentional, by the way. That was not planned at all. You know, and yeah, I do love Tommy. I don't care. It's great. And I mean, like I said, that was my inspiration to to start all this journey, to start, you know, from watching this show every day after school. And I think it was also on in the morning, because I think I remember waking up in the morning and seeing it. And now here we are, and it's so much bigger than anyone could have ever thought, and I want to help make it bigger. I want it to be bigger. I want it to be great. And yeah, hopefully, you know, it's entering a new chapter, and hopefully now we can, you know, just keep on going up from here, and bring it on for another 25 or more years. So if you stuck with this long, right, thank you. And like I said, I have a pile of boxes here. I promise I'm gonna get to them soon, because my floor's a mess and I want to clean it up, and my table's a mess and I want to clean it up, because it's making my wife angry, and just me. I want to clean up. I don't like this. It's a mess. So should have more regular videos coming soon, I promise. The next week, hopefully. But until then, check out our podcast, because Brian did find a way to upload every episode ever, because he's magic. I think they're all at writersrangeandrambles.com. I think that's what he did. I don't know. But go there. It's got a bunch of crap. They're all upstairs somewhere. Just go find Brian. He'll get you all the episodes. They're on my computer, but I couldn't get them to if I wanted to. And what else was I gonna say? How do I end this normally? Oh yes, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Like I said, it's late. I'm tired. I can't think straight. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.